my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Hi, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host, a very good friend, or maybe not after this, is Dave.
Hey there, Chris. Hello to all listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, you've been threatening me for a long time with this movie, and, you know, you do an absolutely amazing impression of the Highlander. But we are going back to 1991, the sequel to the original Highlander, Highlander II, The Quickening, Dave, starring Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery, with a bit of Michael Ironside thrown in for good measure. So, Dave, when was the first time you saw this one?
Well, Chris, I think I've got a false memory. I was convinced that I'd seen this, and again, this is 91, so would have been about the time where I was, watching a fair few movies, and I just, in my head, I'd already watched it. Yeah, I definitely not watched this. Maybe I just watched a director's cut of the original Highlander or something, and it's got a bit muddled in my head. But yeah, the original Highlander, absolutely loved. Obviously, you not so much so when we came to do that, and obviously when we came back to watch it, I spotted more of the ridiculousness, but I still love that original, and the way it's shot. Yes, he walks around in a flasher-mac. He looks a bit suspicious in the modern day, but going back to the Scottish Highlands, Conor MacLeod of the Cloud Clan, and you got all these funny accents. You got this fucking Scottish French guy. You've got this, or French Scottish guy, I should say, and you've got this Scottish Portuguese Egyptian guy, and it's just bonkers, but all underpinned with an amazing Queen soundtrack. I love that original. This one, I thought, how bad can it be, Chris? Can it really be that bad? Of course it can't. It's still Highlander. It's DNA. It's going to still be in that Highlander world. They can't fuck about with the law too much. So let's watch this, and I'm sure I will find things in it to love. So yeah, I thought I'd watch this. I'd heard it was a terrible movie, so I wanted to get it in there in the year of the stitch-up. But yeah, I'm afraid to say I hadn't actually watched it, despite my own memory tricking me about it. I mean, how about yourself, Chris?
So I've definitely seen this one before, years and years ago. I think when we did the Highlander, I always said my cousin forced the Highlander on me, Dave, all the time. He loved the Highlander. It's always this. Yeah. Yeah, it does, to be honest. It was this.
Is the Highlander a euphemism?
Well, maybe, yeah. Not if you want. But it was that Arnie movies, and luckily Blade Runner, I draw the line at Blade Runner, because as you know, I've never watched that garbage, so it's like,
interesting.
I've just realised what I've just done. But anyway, it's one of them, it just doesn't interest me. So with this, I was like, I enjoyed the first one. I always say I love, in the first one, I always love when the Kurgan's in the background in, I think it's Central Park or wherever they are, and he's walking the Highland woman and that, and you see him, and I'd never noticed it when I was a kid. It was only as I got older I'd watched it a few times. But this one, I remember watching it. My cousin bigged it up. He was like, it's the sequel to the Highlander. Christopher Lambert's back, Connery. And even then, as a kid, thinking, I don't think this is very good. But not having the bollocks to sort of stand up to my big fucking steady cousin Dave, who was like 4 or 5 years older than me and looked like Arnie at that point. So I was like, oh, great movie. Loved it. Yeah, great movie. So I've now only ever seen it once, because I remember the flying fucking Wizard of Oz witches in it and stuff. And just being, I mean, the fact that it's set in 2024 is interesting, I must admit. Because when I first put it on, I'd not seen it for ages. I was like, all right, that's a bit fucking strange. I mean, it was almost like it knew what we were going to be doing, Dave. I've not seen the flying hovercraft, like skateboard stuff, like in Back to the Future. But yeah, I was like, well, it's weird that they've actually picked up on this already. So yeah, No, I just remember not having good fun with it the first time I watched it, and probably the only time I'd watched it up until like a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to discuss this one, I must say. So, Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
It sounds like magic.
Oh, it is. Kind of. But we are joined in a way that can never be broken. Not even by death. When you need me, you'll only have to call my name. Greetings, Highlander. You called? You've remembered almost everything I taught you.
I've had a lot of practice lately.
Who are you?
I'm Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod, and I cannot die.
500 years later, a shield above the earth makes everyone its prisoner.
Your time is now.
The hunt for the immortals begins again. Yeah! I want all their heads now.
Hit it, MacLeod.
Be okay.
That's easy for you to say. You don't have to worry about getting killed.
They must have taken about 100 bullets. 108.
112 myself.
Let's have some fun. Highlander II, The Quickening. The fate of mankind. The world is on their heads.
Just stay back.
I can help!
No, you can't. Not this time. Let him feel the quickening.
In the 1990s, industrial pollution severely damaged Earth's ozone layer, exposing the planet to the sun's harmful rays and causing millions of deaths. One of the victims was Brenda Wyatt MacLeod, whose death motivates her husband, the once immortal Connor MacLeod, to dedicate his fortune to saving humanity. By 1999, Connor is working with a scientific team led by Dr. Alan Neyman. Together they develop an electromagnetic shield to protect the Earth from solar radiation. While the shield succeeds in blocking the sun's harmful rays, it also traps the planet in constant darkness with high temperatures and humidity. As a result, humanity's spirit declines. Control of the shield eventually falls into the hands of the corrupt Shield Corporation, led by CEO David Blake, who begins charging countries steep fees to maintain their protection from the sun. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, reading the trivia, the fact that Christopher Lambert, Sean Connery and Michael Ironside said it was a cash grab and they thought a 13-year-old had written the script. I think he did quite well though, the intro actually. This is not going to be for me at all. This is a fucking terrible movie. This is so bad. And Christopher Lambert, I mean, it was 34 million budget. They made 15. They didn't even make half of it. It was that bad. It's the bit when he's in like the opera stuff at the start and he's supposed to be old, isn't he? And he's like some grumpy old man. He's sat there, he's falling asleep, the show's on. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, how? And I think what was always interesting for me, Dave, knowing that obviously what happened to Sean Connery in the first movie, Ramirez, you're like, well, how is he going to come back into this? But yeah, this whole idea of like this world, it's fucked, it's the sun, everything, and everyone's blaming Connor MacLeod, and I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever, does it? It's so, and I know we get in the original Highlander, don't we? Get the throwback to like say the 1400s, and when he meets the Kurgan, and and he's these battles, and it works with it, doesn't it? His missus, the Kurgan kills his missus, and that eventually we meet Ramirez, and then we go forward to like 85. So you've got these like centuries of battles, and I think you do a good job in the first one. It makes the first one look like some fucking Oscar-winning masterpiece compared to this. This is like, and it's so dark, and the cinematography is so bad there's so many scenes in this where you just don't know what's going on. It's like you've got a bootleg copy of the movie, like the old VHSs you used to get years ago. I remember getting a copy of Turtles 1990, and someone had it around school, and they were like, one of my best mates, I've got a copy, my brother's got it. I remember watching it going, fuck me, this is bad. Like, I couldn't tell what was going on because he was so like in the sewers and that, and then you get the odd bit of colour of the turtles, and then you couldn't even see Splinter, so... Even I remember I talked about we did the Phantom Menace and comics, but remember Phantom Menace being so bad and the pod racing. I thought it was the dodgy copy and the tracking and that horrible whirring noise of the pods until I watched it properly. I was like, oh no, that's in the movie. This is just I can't even. It baffles my mind what they wasted the fucking money on. The only thing I can think of, and I have read this loads of times, and I think we've talked about this before, is that Connery just come off the fucking golf course, and a lot of the scenes he had his golf pants on, and the top he had Ramirez's stuff on, and that is so bad. He absolutely did a Brando in this, did he, Connery? He just doesn't give a fuck in this movie. But yeah, unbelievable start, Dave, and I can see why he got 5% because this is a bad movie.
Yeah. I actually think the backstory to it is more interesting than the movie, probably. What I'll just say, you mentioned about the opera. So I think they're trying to draw a parallel to the opening of the first, because he's watching the wrestling, isn't he, if you remember? And so, upgraded from the wrestling to the opera. But old Connor McLeod, Christopher, let's say the Lambert, right? Christopher Lambert is not a fucking good actor, is he?
No, he's
trying to play the old man, and he's just going into parody, like he's doing the Fast Show or something. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm really old. It's like, no old person speaks like that. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, the world seems to have turned on him. But I should clarify, we watched. Well, actually, I don't know exactly which one you watched. I watched the theatrical cut.
That's what I watched, I think. Not the Renegade version.
Yeah, not the Renegade version. So there's a really good documentary, actually. It's on YouTube that talks about the something like Lost in Argentina or something like that. Basically, they were looking to do a sequel. And then they figured out if they could film in Argentina, very much like Roger Corman did, lots of films down there, they could save millions. It was a foolproof plan. It was a cunning plan, as Baldrick put together. And basically, they flew them down there, but some of the finance backers were really pushing for Sean Connery to come in at all costs, whatever it is. And so he just did not give a fuck, but got paid something ridiculous, got paid millions for 6 days' work. And so he was there for like 6 days, and then they just spread him out through the movie. So he was there it makes it look like he's there for longer than he actually is. I was like, part of me is disgusted by it. Part of me is massively respectful of it. Good on you. But yeah, the problem was, no sooner had they started filming, that the economy in Argentina crashed and then went into hyperinflation. So they ended up in production. Basically, the directors and everything were getting, I was going to say interfered with. Sounds wrong. There's loads of interference, and basically you ended up with, I think it was like the insurance company taking over the production of the film, and even the directors, when they come to see the theatrical cut, and they saw some of the shoddy special effects that had just been cobbled together, and they're like, this is not how it's supposed to look. With the whole shield thing as well, and where the corporation was as well, it all just looked crap as far as they were concerned. So it was hit with all these massive problems, and they kind of all seemed to know, like you say, it was going to be crap, but yeah, sort of sabotage really by this hyperinflation in Argentina at the end of, I think end of the 80s, early 90s time. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. And that's why you've got the theatrical cut. They went back. We haven't even mentioned Planet Zeist, Chris, but they went back with the Renegade cut and removed all the Planet Zeist stuff and then made it more about kind of a time travel thing. But don't necessarily know if that makes it any better. I think it would still be a shit movie. And so, yeah, it's just one of these glorious car crashes of a production.
It's brilliant. I mean, I'm reading, as you're saying that, and I'd read some of the trivia. Like, to be fair to Connery, he made $3.5 million, donated it all to charity, Dave. He's probably thought he had dirty money on his hands.
I didn't know that bit.
I didn't know that bit. And then Christopher Lambert, Michael Ironside were using proper swords, so they had a proper fight. He Ironside chopped off Lambert's finger. And then
it was only a bit. I think it was probably
from his darts hand, but just throwing a bit. But then you've got like the stuff where Lambert refused to use a fake sword, and that's why they don't get. And he's got bad eyesight, so he's fucking causing injury. So the trivia, it's like you said about documentary. The trivia in that is fascinating. Connery wasn't supposed to be in it. Lambert dug his heels in and went because he was good mates of him. I want him in the movie, and it's the only movie Connery's done where he's played the same character twice. He's other than James Bond. No other film. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to steal your fun because I love reading up on it, but like this has really got me going. The actual trivia. I'll be on a rabbit hole later about what actually happened with Highlander 2. Maybe we should have done it before the podcast day, but this reading,
that's generally
that's usually how it works.
Do it.
So anyway, sorry to cut, but I do think what you're saying is right. You can clearly see that because of what happened in Argentina and the way it's shot, and it was all shot there. It's just a fucking holiday for the actors and that, isn't it? Like, they just were not into this. And you can see it in the performance. You can see sometimes, like, you say Christopher Lambert, he's not a good actor at all. And you can clearly see he's probably done some of these takes 5 or 6 times, and he's like, just get to the fucking bit where you go, I'm happy with it. I want to get out of it. And he wanted to pull out of this movie. He even says that. He knew it was bad, and he didn't want to do it, but he was contracted to do it. So I love doing these sort of movies, and I think you've picked a cracker for the trivia, because it's fucking fascinating to know that Sean Connery, the legend, was attached to such an absolute turkey. The others I'm not bothered about, but Connery is a legend, Dave, and I know he can be awkward, but my God, he must have hated every bit of this, or he just went and played golf all day and just turned up for his probably.
I can't help but feel if he gave the whole fee away to charity, he knew that money was dirty somehow.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But yeah, so the thing is, again, I don't know. Is it this method acting type thing where Lambert wants to do it with real swords? But the problem is, so you said about the injuries. Did you say about Michael Ironside had his jaw dislocated?
Oh God, did he? Right, and it's just
dislocated. And so. The thing is, though, these big, heavy fucking swords, it just looks shit.
Too heavy?
The sword fights, they can't actually fucking move them. So everything's slow and laboured. So actually, in real life, dangerous. But in terms of movies, we want these things high, fast-paced. These are guys who have been, working at their sword play for years, decades, centuries. And it just looks really bad.
It does, doesn't it? Because I think we talked about that when we did our Highlander one. Was Clancy Brown's a big guy, and he's got a massive sword, and he even said, didn't he, in the trivia, like it was so heavy to wield. But Lambert, you can see he's not Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown's about 6'3", 6'4". He's a big old unit, innit? And Lambert's got a sword, and he's wielding it so fucking slow, and it's so like telegraphed. It's almost like a cartoon, like thing, innit? Or like a play at school. It's really like I was talking about this. I saw this the other day. I remember. I've talked about this. I love the first John Wick movie. Like I love that movie, and I love the scene. It's always on social media when, like, he's killed his dog, and that's how gets him out of retirement because he's lost his wife and that. Great movie, totally unexpected, really good. I remember going to watch the third one, and all the scenes when Keanu Reeves is like doing these gun scenes, and it's like a dance, and it's so choreographed. And there's a scene at the end, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a glass building, and he's fighting against like the Yakuza and that. and it's just shit. It's like, he's so slow. And obviously he's 60 now, and he's great movies. Maybe they should have speeded it up, but you can just see what's going to happen. You know that they're literally tap dancing around the set to do these scenes, you know, to make it look like because they're all this next level assassins. And I think with this is not even on the same level as John Wick, but this, like, the scenes when he's got the sword, when he sort of comes back to life, doesn't he, where he's like the young, you know, Connor McLeod again. And like you said, even the name Connor McLeod, the fact that he's fucking French and he's got no Scottish accent, and fucking Connor is the best, isn't he? You know, like in The Untouchables, his mate's Irish, the other cop who's the fucking dodgy one, and he's doing an Irish accent, and Connor is just doing his Scottish accent. And even in this, they're trying to talk to him when he has like them scenes with the suit and that fucking, on my toes were curling, Dave, when he's like, he's on a plane, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is terrible. You know, Connery gets like a full wearing a suit, and they're like, would you like to fly and all this? And he's like, fly? And he's trying to like crack jokes. And you can see Connery's just like, I don't give a fuck why I'm here. I really don't care. He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Yeah. So I just found it there. So it's Highlander II, Seduced by Argentina on YouTube. Really good documentary. And I can't remember who it was.
Brilliant.
I think it was one of the production people, and, you know, doing the old talking heads thing. And he was saying, look, you know, we in Argentina, you know, the girls are absolutely stunning. The clubs are open till early hours in the morning. We had a great time. But yeah. Now, it sounds like we're really enjoying this movie. The movie is really shit. But there is something like that's grabbed me, that it is so shit. I kind of enjoyed it. I did watch this one twice, not because I enjoyed it so much, because after watching it the first time and reflecting on it, I was like, I don't think I've got a fucking clue what happened. It's just, and I did nod off a couple of times as well. But one of if I'm to be less forgiving, one of the things that I can't forgive it for is just absolutely fucking with the Highlander lore. Now, I haven't watched the other sequels, but I believe this is like the sort of ginger-headed stepchild. No one acknowledges its existence. So it just ignores the fact that this one is there, and Planet Zeist is never spoken of again. So I think, though, this is not the production, this is the writing. Now, in the first Highlander, you know, again, through the flashbacks, we see Connor McLeod, and he's a normal human being. And it's only when he's cut down by the Kurgan on the battlefield, you know, this trauma, and he's near death, that's when he kind of has this awakening. You know, that's when he becomes the sort of Highlander, the immortal. With this, and yeah, he goes through his whole montage with Sean Connery, doesn't he? And then, you know, he's training him and stuff. With this, oh no, they already knew each other. It's fine. They knew each other. They were buddies on the planet Zeist, and so, you know, it was all fine. They knew each other. Like, what? Right. First of all, planet fucking Zeist. do you remember Planet Zanussi? It sort of reminds me of a cross between Planet Zanussi, the maker of washing machines or something, and like Zeitgeist. I'm sure probably it's more of a reference to Zeitgeist, but it's just so fucking ridiculous. And then what is even more bonkers is Michael Ironside. You know, Connor McLeod's nearly fucking dead. Have you seen him? He's giving the old man speak, and it's like, oh, now after decades, you know, he might come back. So what I'm going to have to do is go to Earth and kill him. And it's like, he's going to die. You've left him there for ages. You've just decided right now, for reasons, you're going to have to go back and kill him. What the fuck? I mean, like I say, I can have a go and, you know, empathize with the production woes that they had. But the writing, fuck me. It's just absolutely awful.
Honestly, I'm with you. It is terrible. Like I say, the Connery scenes, it's weird because they're in this like world where it's fucked, in it. These cars burn everywhere. but he can go into a tailor, Dave, like he's on Savile Row and get a full fucking suit with a golf bag. He's not paid for it, and they're going to give him a fucking limo to the plane. And I'm like, what's he paid for it on? How have they just give him all this stuff? And he's like, I'm playing. I'm going to do his accent. I can't do his accent.
He's got, here, have this have this little earring. All right, cheers, that you've just plucked out of your fucking manky ear. Oh, brilliant. Get this guy whatever he wants. And then it goes into a whole fucking My Fair Lady type of thing.
Downton Abbey, the Highlander version. He's fucking nonsense, isn't he? That guy is literally fucking loving him, isn't he? And he gives him that weird golf bag. Obviously, he's a golfer. He's like a golfer. Yeah. He's like, have a good trip. Yeah, you want to fly? And then he's on the plane with that woman. And I'm like, oh, he's fucking dipping his bread here. She's well up for a bit of the old fucking Connery.
What about they were watching the like safety video of planes crashing?
Yeah, I've seen that loads of times because there's nothing better when you sat next to a nervous flyer, and I've sat next to, I'm sure you have, Dave, where I've had people rocking, or when you always get the idiots that when you land, oh, fantastic, thanks, we're here. I hate that. I fucking hate that on a plane. I've never
I mean, sometimes though, I have been, honestly, Chris, I remember flying to Greece and we were going over the Alps, and it was a business trip. So I had a glass of beer, but it was one of those where I'm trying to catch the beer in the glass as we're fucking dropping out of the sky and fucking getting this worst turbulence that I've ever had in my life. I can't remember I don't remember clapping. It doesn't seem like something I do. But I think back to that flight and I think, yeah, I might have clapped. Older me would probably clap in that moment because you can appreciate a skill. So for a normal flight, you know, like, okay, you've done your pilot's license or whatever, had an easy enough flight, but sometimes you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, you've earned your salary there, mate.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm saying that, you're right. If you're in that city, I remember coming back from Tenerife once in the middle of the night, and Jordan's she was 2007, and I'm watching, Dave, this is true, this is where it all comes from. I'm watching the Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer one, the second one, right? And I'm watching it on the plane, on the little fucking screen, and this fucking noise just came in the plane where it was like the engine had just, you know, when you land and you get that like back thrust where they're braking and everything.
Yeah.
And the fucking stewardesses just ran down the plane, and it was sort of the middle of the night, so there was a lot of people asleep. And I remember going, holy fuck. And Jordan,
this is it.
This is it. Yeah, this is it. And then Jordan just went, we're all going to die. A lot of people went, oh. What the fuck? And that's not like Jordan to do that, because Sam's brother, you know, he always laughs about it. He goes, I remember Jordan going, we're all going to die. And I was like, and I remember this woman going, he's not on a plane. I just chaos. And I'm sat there trying to, it's a fucking fantastic moment, Jordan. Shush. But there was genuinely some concern because the stewardesses sat down and they looked like the fucking plane was going down. You know, you can see the fear.
Yeah.
That's what they always say. If it's bad, look for the fucking steward and stewardesses. If they're fucking white as a sheet or whatever, we're in fucking trouble, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, but honestly, it was one of them like classic, like Knack and Naked Gun moment or something like we were watching about last week. But anyway, Dave, I've got to say, I have got an impression. I've got a fucking Liam Neeson, but with a Conor McLeod.
Very nice.
Yeah, well, it's a Liam Neeson with Conor McLeod as well, the old line as well. So I've been working on it this week, actually. I'll save it for later, Dave, but I've been working on it.
Very good, very good. I mean, you say when Connery comes back as well, it's this weird mixture of slapstick. I mean, the plane crashing on the safety video, for me, that's almost straight out of Airplane. And when Connery speaks to that woman, it's as if she's got headphones on and listened to something really funny, because it doesn't look like she's reacting to him. She's just like, she just bursts out hysterically laughing. So yeah, I just found that really odd. But there's stuff with, so here's the thing, right? So we haven't talked about Louise, played by Virginia Madsen. So sister of Michael Madsen, old Mr. White there. So she's a bit of a terrorist, or terrorists, but she used to work for S.H.I.E.L.D., and then she's found there's some odd readings, so it seems like the ozone layer has actually fixed itself, and S.H.I.E.L.D. are just profiteering, so she's been put on the news and everything, so Connor McLeod's in the bar, isn't he? And then she gets this piece of paper that says, go and see Connor McLeod at this place. Never explained, Chris, how the fuck did that letter get there? Never addressed. But she goes to meet her. It's like Connor McLeod, and then, he recognises her from the TV or whatever. That's when you get the sort of flying monkeys, the Wizard of Oz flying monkeys sent from planet Zeist, who have this weird, like, like, yes, my pretty, it's like, what the fuck is going on? But again, just massively weird. It reminds me of the second Matrix, with the twins there.
Twins, yeah.
And like you say, they've got these Green Goblin flying glider things, and then somehow this old Connor McLeod, one of them is the unluckiest bastard because he just falls off, gets his head cut off by the train, but because this planet Zeitgeistian, or whatever they want to call him, Connor gets the quickening, so he goes from old guy to younger Connor McLeod, and then he sort of walks out the fire, and then kills off the other one. For some reason, Chris, Louise she's just met old fucking Connor McLeod, old guy who didn't want to know, and said, you used to have vision and blah blah blah. Start fucking dry humping against the wall for no reason.
That's what I think you stole my thunder. That was the thing. The whole thing is basically Back to the Future 2. It's literally fucking Griff, innit, at the town hall when he's on the hoverboard and that. And Connor does the same thing, like you say. He's young, and then he's so fucking smug, and he picks his sword up, and he's looking at her to say, look how big this fucker is. And she's like, oh my God. And he just, like you say, these two baddies are fucking awful. They're like something out of The Wizard of Oz, aren't they? They're so bad. They are so bad. But he somehow knows how to fly this hoverboard. So he's going around. The fight is terrible. He ends up coming off it, and then he gets between a car, and then he drops a line in, which I can't remember. He's so fucking terrible. Yeah, next minute, she's just like, fuck that. You were 80 odd. You had fucking, your body was falling apart. Now it's not. Let's just fucking have a bit at the side of the fucking building. It's nearly killed. These people wanting to hunt you, but I tell you what, let's just sort ourselves out. But that is like Christopher Lambert's pulled an audible there and gone, yeah, I think I need to, we need to make it a bit more physical. Like you wanted to kiss her or something. He's so out of character. He's like the Connery bit where he's so disjointed that there is no build-up, there's no context. She's just gone to see this old man. She knows who he is. And there's no... It's not like he was flirting with her when he was 70 or 80, as he's supposed to be. But straight away, and it's not her fault. He's just like, oh, fuck it, I'm young now. I don't need fucking Viagra. Let's just fucking go for it. My fucking testosterone's up. Let's see if it still works. And it obviously does. But that is a very, very strange sex scene in the movie, that, innit? Again, the cutting and the editing is woeful in this. This is such a bad movie. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know because, how could they... There can't be anything on the cutting room floor that explained this. Because, like you say, just literally before the flying monkeys came, she was having this back and forth dialogue and they weren't getting on. But he was like fucking 90 or something. What would get you from there to humping against the wall? It blows my mind. But that's it then. I mean, her role in the whole movie is sort of sidelined into just love interest, and they're just together for the rest of the movie. She's just sort of hanging around in his bed.
Yeah. Well, there's worse things, Dave. You know what I mean? About a hard day chopping people's heads off.
Very lovely looking lady. I can't blame him for that. But, it's an utter nonsense.
It is. And I don't know, like we talked about Connery, but the whole idea of that, the first movie is just completely fucked over to get him in this movie. And the whole thing when he chopped his head off, there was real purpose, wasn't there, behind it? Like him getting killed and the Kurgan and the revenge and what he did was his best friend and all that. There was so much that in that first one that he made the story work. And I know, reading up, apparently the third one doesn't even acknowledge this one. It's just a continuation of the first one. So it's like, and that's supposed to be a bad movie.
None of them do.
No.
Like, this is just cast aside.
This is a terrible movie. And I think even like with Michael Ironside, what I struggled with him and Christopher Lambert is they've got the same haircut. So at certain points, because it's so dark, it's so bad, the lighting, when they're supposed to be fighting each other or when there's something going on, sometimes I'm like, is that the fucking Highlander there? Oh no, it's not, it's Michael Ironside. And then he's being the baddie in here, and it's just, even the fight with him at the end, he's fucking rubbish. He's nowhere near as good as the first movie, is it, for the fight? The Kurgan and the Highlander at the end is a great fight in it. It's these real like menace, because you know that the Kurgan's just so physically bigger and imposing than the Highlander. He's got that edge about him, whereas Michael Ironside just looks like a TV actor putting a wig on him and go and play a baddie, and that's all it is. There's no like jeopardy to it, is it? It's not like he's bigger than him or there's some. I always say though, when I love movies where the baddie, I know it doesn't matter these days, but the baddie is bigger, physically more imposing, like Bane with Christian Bale. Now Christian Bale's actually taller than Tom Hardy, but for the purpose of that movie, there's a bit of trickery. They're around about the same height, but he's physically bigger. Batman has got to overcome him, and really to get him. He gets beat in the first fight, like Rocky 3 or whatever. You know, you've got them like Mr. T levers Rocky and all that, and then he has to come back and he's basically unbeatable at that time, Clubber Lang, but he beats him. So I love that in movies, but this is just, you know, it's just shit, Dave. It really is shit. I don't know what I can say. It's just a terrible movie. And even when he does chop, you know, his head off, there's no finger to it. You're not like satisfied. You're sort of like, it's like Michael Ironside's in a different movie. Other than the odd scene he has to do with Christopher Lambert. It doesn't make any sense at the end, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Ironside, you know, plays the character Katana, which, of course, from Samurai Cop, we know is the Japanese for sword. What a film. What a film. The thing is, I actually quite like Michael Ironside in this. I completely agree with you. The Kurgan was different level. That physical, you know, and Clancy Brown wanted nothing to do with this, and I think he did quite well making that decision. But, you know, because he was so big, but what a performance as well, you know, just such a nasty bastard, you know, and he's sort of in the holy ground. And again, why do Planet Zeitgeistians give a fuck about being on holy ground? I don't know, but that makes an appearance here again. But the Kurgan, when he's there and he's sort of licking the hand of the nun and stuff, it's like, oh, you creepy, greasy bastard. So, just the Kurgan is different level. Michael Ironside is just chewing up the scenery here. And I do feel like you always get that same bastard when you get Michael Ironside. I remember seeing him in V. I think that was probably the first thing I'd seen him in. Watched it the other week with Starship Troopers. Need to do that at some point. But he just plays, it's like, oh, you bastard. So I actually think he doesn't hold back with this. He's just chewing up that scenery. And again, one of the other characters in here is CEO Blake, played by John C. McGinley, who most of us probably know from Scrubs. So he's playing the CEO.
Yes.
And when Katana first turns up, you know, to this board meeting, because these are a corrupt, you know, big mega corporation, again in 2024, who could foresee that, you know, profiteering from, you know, the despair of other people. And he comes in, and then basically Blake orders him to shoot Katana. You know, just in this boardroom, everyone's just loaded. You know, everyone's back in, and then he just fucking murders him. But obviously he's immortal, so he comes back, and then, you know, he sort of rips his jaw off, or there's some weird sound effects. It sounded almost like a Bruce Lee movie or something, where he's sort of cracking his jaw open. But then he's on the board, I guess, there. But John C. McGinley is chewing it up as well. I think he's going for it, but gets unfortunately killed by crushed bollocks and thrown out the window.
Talk about teabagging, Dave, you know? Oh my God.
Fucking insane. And actually, I might be wobbling a bit here because discussing it with you, I'm sort of enjoying recounting it now more than I actually enjoyed watching the movie.
It's a shocker. And then you're right. I think, like, what gets me is, like, the premise is, isn't it? Like once he's done this, he uses the quickening, Dave, and we end up with a night sky once again. The world is healed. Connor McLeod has saved the day. But it's sort of like one of the moments where you're thinking, well, the Highlander was such a good... Well, I say that, it's like last week, and it's Smoking the Bandit 3. You do the first one. The first one is one of my, it is probably my greatest film ever. The second one is okay, got completely panned, a bit like the Cannonball Run. The first one, I think, is better than the second one, but as a kid, I always enjoyed watching the second one. Smoking the Bandit 2 is a pretty crap movie, but the end bit I love with the cars, and there's a big, like, Russian standoff and all that sort of thing with the trucks and that. I do like that. And there's bits in it, but the third one is terrible, isn't it? It's such a bad movie. We talked about it. It's so bad. This is on another level. This is like, at least with Smoking the Bandit, they had a budget of like fucking, first class stamp and a Mars bar or something. This is £34 million that they've used in 1991. What the fuck have they used? I know Connery's paid $3 million and he give it to charity. He's probably embarrassed to take it. He's probably thinking, if I take this, there's going to be someone come back on me here. And a great thing that he give the money away, but everyone should have give the money away for this movie. This is terrible. It's just, there's nothing about it. The edit, and the fact that they've done a Renegade version to re-edit it and take out like the other world thing, and it's still bad, says it all. It's just, it's almost like I'm going to say, Dave, because that just pisses me off. I'm going to go out and live. I hate that Snyderverse bollocks. All this stuff now. David Corenswet's getting loads of shit for Superman. We haven't even seen the fucking movie. I love Henry Cavill.
That'll go on for
it's bullshit.
a long time.
Yeah, there'll be a Snyder cut somewhere. He's getting on my... It's like 6-7 years. Get over it. The movies were fucking bad. That's it. The end. The Man of Steel, great movie. The others were fucking pretty... I love watching them. I'm sorry. I know everyone says Ben Affleck, Dave. I want to rant now. Ben Affleck, Batman, great. Old man Batman, whatever you comics. But for me, Christian Bale's the pinnacle. Probably followed by maybe Keaton or whatever. But I'm not having it. And R.I.P. by the way to Val Kilmer, Dave. He was underrated Batman.
Yeah, legend.
So yeah, legend, underrated Batman, and Ice as well in Top Gun. So yeah, sad news that recently. But I just, this is like that. This started that whole... I'm blaming the Highlander quickening on the Snyderverse bollocks. All you see all the time is hashtag Snyderverse. What? You're not going to... You can't polish a fucking turd. That's it. The end. Nothing else. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm on Monday. Different podcast. But yeah, this is an awful movie. And I think for the year of the stitch-up, you've done a very good job on this one.
Yeah. I think the thing I'm most offended by, though, like I say, is the law. The fact that they've just taken that first movie and all the great things in it and just took a big shit on it. And you've got, Connery, like you say, just swinging in, popping in from the golf course every now and then to do a scene. But to give him his big ending, he suddenly, they're not just immortal, they can summon up, all their life force. And they're inexplicably in this weird fan type building, bit of a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory type thing. And he's trying to hold up this fan. And he's like, hold it up there. There you go, escape. And this door just opens. And it's like, I'm pretty sure you could make it. just have a run for it. I didn't get the jeopardy from that scene, but I guess it was... something he'd wanted to be killed off again, but then they say, what was it? Will I ever see you again, or whatever it is? And he just sort of gives a little wink. Depends how much money you've got. It's just utterly ridiculous. And like you say, they kind of get rid of the shield, the Earth. I mean, almost like the Matrix, isn't it, Chris? Where it was the machines, but they covered the sky. Because no, it was the humans, wasn't it, who covered the sky to try and stop the solar powered energy getting to the machines, and that was what forced them to make batteries out of the humans. I guess I'd forgotten that bit. It wasn't the machines, but just utter nonsense. But yeah, I must admit I've really enjoyed the chat about it, though.
I think I am. Anyway, Dave, I did say I had an impression. I'm just going to do. It is the Highlander, but with a Liam Neeson type slant on it, because I'm still not happy about my Liam Neeson.
I think that was the original one.
Yeah, that was it. Now, can you do your Highlander, Dave? Because everyone's waiting for that, because it is really good.
I don't even know. You know what they say a lot in this movie? It's reference, obviously, the A Kind of Magic, the album by Queen, it's basically the soundtrack for the first Highlander movie. But they say a lot through this, it's a kind of magic.
Oh my God.
It just, multiple times through the movie, it's just like, like real buttock clenchingly. But yeah, I've got to give a Christopher Lambert thing nice. So, there can be only one, you Spanish peacock.
So I can't do that one, Dave. So I'm going to say the same line, but I'm going to do Liam Neeson now. Ready? So,
come on, you can't do the Christopher Lambert one, but
well,
you
I can try it. Let me do Lambert then. Now, do yours again so I can get the tone, because I'm fucking terrible at bringing it in. Go on, let's hear it again.
There can be only one.
Okay, right. There can be only one. No. So, there can be only one. Dave, I've been practicing that all week. I was in the gym yesterday practicing that Liam Neeson bit. And fucking just for that, there can be only one. Anyway, was he worth the wait? Probably fucking not. There you go.
And on that bombshell, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. Great movie, Dave. Honestly, you've picked an absolute turkey here. Like, this is just unbelievable how bad this movie is. So I will give you credit on that. I think, like, the year of the stitch up, absolutely perfect. It makes sense. Just so bad. However, Dave, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This movie is terrible. It's fucking awful, but literally, it is sort of laugh out loud good. Because he's so bad. And the Connery bit is iconic for just taking a piss. So I'm putting in Hill Valley, Dave, right in the middle. It didn't offend me. It certainly was not a terrible movie, as what people said. It may be at 5%. It is good because it's so bad. It's not Miami Connection or Samurai Cop, Dave, but you've actually reversed it there. And I'd probably watch this again because this is and I would do this to piss people off and say, well, never seen Highlander II Quickening. So underrated that. And I'll keep a straight face when I suggest it to him. But yeah, it's an awful movie. However, I had so much fun watching it, Dave. So I will thank you for that. So what do you say, my friend?
My brain works in a funny way at times. I can picture you, like maybe you're at a family occasion or something. You're sat in a nice, comfortable chair. And then the conversation goes to maybe, 80s, 90s movies or something. Someone else is having the conversation. You're just listening there. And they say, oh, Highlander, I love that. I love that movie. And I could just see your eyebrows raised and your head turning to the side and saying, now, have you seen the sequel?
Oh, I can sell anything to anyone, Dave. That would be an Oscar-winning performance. Yeah. And then knowing I was going to get a text off him calling me a see you next Tuesday a few days later would be the pinnacle. I would be sniggering for ages at that. That would be...
no, in my little mental head scenario here, you put on the movie straight away so they can enjoy it. And you can watch in real time the suffering, never mind the quickening, the suffering of seeing this first movie, the lore of the Highlander being completely shat on. Chris, I've got to tell you, I'm sort of in the same place. I'm measuring it on the so bad it's kind of good scale. Objectively, this is an older on all day long. It is just an absolute mess. The fact that they've just taken a big crap on that first movie and destroyed the whole lore, all invalidated all of those scenes with Connery, and Connor McLeod's initial upbringing. Everyone knew him since he was a fucking baby. He grew up there. And so, yeah, objectively, it's crap, but it was enjoyable. Also, cannot rule out that I'm going to watch this a few more times in my lifetime, I have to say. And so, yeah, it's a hill valley from me as well. Like, not the best bad movie I've ever seen, but yeah, thoroughly enjoyable. I really enjoyed this chat going through it with you.
I'm so glad. I had a feeling we'd be in the same spot because it's just silly. It's a silly fucking movie. And that's what this is about. It's brilliant. But anyway, Dave, it is a Patreon pick next week, and it's one of our newer patrons, Greg, Dave. So, what has he picked for us, Dave? Because I've got a feeling it's not in the diary on purpose to stitch me up. So I was looking, thinking I could intro it, and I'm just seeing that, and I'm thinking, oh, the spider senses are going down the Blake and spider down Route 8. So what has Greg got for us, Dave?
Well, I'm glad that you've given me the credit that's why it's not in the calendar. Yeah, totally. That's why it's not in the calendar, Chris. If we just pop on a little bit of hold music here. I don't actually think it is a massive stitch up.
I know which one it is, actually. Now I'm just thinking out loud. Actually, I think I may have seen the message, Dave. Yes.
Yep, so this, Chris, is a well-known movie. Now, we did The Warriors, and this one is not The Warriors, obviously, because we've done that before, but this one is around about that same era, and it's actually the 1979 The Wanderers. Now, let's get into the trailer.
Back in '63, there was one kind of music.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a West Side Story feel.
Yeah,
One kind of love.
No, not yet. In a couple minutes we're gonna be naked, then what?
That's Indiana Jones's child bride.
All kinds of gangs.
If you ever need us, just whistle loud. We'll be there.
never seen this one, though. Heard of it?
No, me neither.
Teenage trouble. The terrors of
Oh,
their
my
time.
word.
Yeah.
Oh, I
They were the
remember
Fort
these.
Baldies.
Yeah,
It's from Stir Crazy.
Yeah, I remember these guys.
All right, let's stomp some ass.
The Del Bombers. The Wongs.
What we do, Joey? What we do? Nothing. They just started chasing me.
And then there were the Wanderers.
Oh, I've seen this scene before. I have seen this scene before, Dave.
Gotcha.
I might like this, actually. I have seen that scene before on YouTube.
The Wanderers.
I'm the type of guy that
It was their world.
I remember this bit.
Don't know where you're living.
Never seen it before.
No, me neither.
Then you ain't going with us.
Their rules.
Except I've not ever seen it.
Wanda's forever, right, Joey?
It was their time. But time
The song
was
wasn't for
running
this
out.
movie, though, was it?
No, I think that was a 50s song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Wanderer?
Yeah, I think
The Wanderers.
it's like the end of fucking. What are they called?
Warriors.
to run.
No. Oh, fucking hell.
Too
The bloody
proud to
weatherman
hide.
one day when they have the fight, that scene, at the end. Is that, what's
Too
it called?
good to lose.
The comedy one with Will Ferrell.
Wanda's forever.
Oh, Anchorman.
Thank you, man. We have that fight.
The Wanderers are coming.
Not yet.
and you'll never forget them.
And jackets cost a bit of money, Dave.
I bet they would now, wouldn't they?
I'm quite looking forward to that. I've never seen it before. Well, I've seen scenes out of it. I didn't know that's what the movie was called. So that's going to be interesting.
It looks interesting. I think we're going to depart from our stitch-ups. That one looks like, we keep saying, don't we, going back to the 70s, that, there's untapped films that we maybe haven't watched before that we should watch. But yeah, can't wait to watch this one.
I can't wait for that. Honestly, it should be a good one, that. So anyway, massive thank you to everyone. Thank you for that pick, Greg. I'm actually looking forward to that. At least it's a bit of something different from the stitch-up. It might not be, but I think I might enjoy that one. If you do want to email us, the vhsstrikesback@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @VHSStrikesBack. If you do want to support us, please go over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So the roll call of honour and a big thank you to Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike, Lee, to Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Kent, Lucky Lulu Green, Herbs, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for your support. Amazing stuff. The year of the stitch-up keeps on rolling. Dave, that slightly backfired on you after my smoking the band last week. So with that in mind, what have you got to take us out with today, my friend?
Well, I mean, kind of more so from the first movie, I thought, well, you got that rock Queen kind of sound. So, I kind of wanted that 80s rock feel to it. And so that's the one I've gone for. But in terms of the title, I've called this one A Kind of Tragic.
Yeah, very good. I like it.
A bit Queen-like.
I was like Queen, to be fair.
There can be only one.
Bit of Brian May there.
Yeah, ready sound as well.
Now size is a thing, it's not explained. They changed the rules, then said we're insane. The curtain's gone, the tone is weird. There's flying cars and no one cheered. They dropped the law and doubled down. Sean's in tights, just don't get down. It's a kind of tragic. What the hell did they do? It's a kind of tragic. They ruined Highlander II. Oh no! The plot made us scream, oh no! Straight to video tree. It's a kind of tragic, but we still side through. Ramirez just appears with style, just like Hamlet in denial. We laughed, we cried, we kinda swore. Then we found there's Highlander sequels galore. they do. It's a kind of tragic. They ruined Highlander II. Oh no! The plot made us scream. Oh no! A straight-to-video dream. It's a kind of tragic, but we still side through. It's a kind of tragic. What the hell did they do? It's a kind of tragic.
There's only one. But then, there ain't two. Oh, shit, now where's that?
I've only just realised, Chris, because I did have a little bit of a thing at work where, we had to step up gears into a bit of a situation. I did send that meme this week where it's like, the airplane looks like I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. And I didn't even realise I probably had this in my mind. But yeah, that was I had a lot of fun putting that one together. I'm sort of glad you enjoyed it as well. The year of the Stitch Up is a kind of war of attrition, and so getting some enjoyment out of the movies as well is a good thing. But Chris, where are you going to take us out today?
Well, Dave, I knew you were going to do this, so I'm going to quote Katana out of the movie, Dave, in my Christopher Lambert voice, which I don't even know if I've got one. And this just sums up this movie perfectly, Dave. So, give us a bit of Lambert, Dave. I need to hear the tone just so I can get nowhere near it. Go on, a little bit.
There can be only one.
Okay. Oh, man, there's no way I'm going to get this right. I'm not even going to do it in that voice. Fuck it, I'm doing Liam Neeson. That's now my new go-to, actually.
Because that's a lot better.
In fact, no, I'm going to do I'm not. In fact, Dave, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this
You're
one.
Bane?
I am, just to mix. No, Bale. Let me do Christian Bale. Actually, I'll do Batman. That's if you don't take it out and use it, it's going to rust. Goodbye.
Shakespeare. Bye now.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's odd.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy something. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I seen you at 6 months.
I must break you.